Hello and welcome to Let's Talk About It. My name is Mary and I want to wish you a Happy New Year, although we have gone pretty far in this January, but anyway, all the best in 2023. As you all know, tonight we have a very interesting episode ahead of us, and we're going to talk about a very interesting program that we have started last September. We're going to talk about the Prime program, a full-time online schooling program or project, call it whatever you want, that we started, and this is why we have our teacher Sophie here. Sophie, welcome to Let's Talk About It.
Thank you for having me. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I am great. Thank you for asking. I hope you're the same.
Yes, I'm actually great, even though it was a working day behind us and we're still working, but yeah, we're managing.
Good. Yes, we're managing it somehow.
And I also want to wish welcome to Anita, our co-host here. Hello, Anita. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm good. I was expecting you to.
I was getting too excited with my hand waves, but yes, I'm well. Thank you.
So, as we mentioned, Prime program and full-time online schooling. So, as you all know, online schooling is pretty flexible, and students do not have classes like they do in traditional schools, and that's one of the great benefits of online schooling. Yet, we had so many requests from parents in previous years, and we started thinking about what would happen if we actually try to do a full-time online schooling program where we would offer students classes every day, online classes every day, and a schedule or timetable that includes 4 to 5 classes each day, and that's actually what we did in September. And we are getting close to, I think, end of the first semester, right?
Exactly.
And since Sophie has been one of the leading teachers in the Prime program and also one of the teachers who has been the longest with the education worldwide, she has a lot of things to share. But before we start talking about the Prime program, I would like Sophie to make a small introduction. Can you tell us how long do you work for Education Worldwide, and what is your previous experience with the school, with this individual learning as we have even right now, and how things are now that you switched to Prime?
Of course. So I've been working for Education Worldwide for almost 2 years now, and I'm very happy about it. At first I started with the individual lessons, and then I switched to group classes as well. But I was very, very excited when I first found out that we were going to do something like Prime, because we'd never done anything like that before. Especially because I get to see the same, we will talk about it, of course, in more details later on, but I get to see the same group, the same students every single day, and we get to create the great connection and a great bond with them, which is not the case with individual lessons and the group lessons, because you don't get to see the same student every single day. So this is one of the reasons why this program is so special and so and it means so much, not only to me, but I believe to the students as well.
Yes, and Prime program, well, since this was a trial year with the Prime program, this is the first time that we started something, and we are learning along the way. And we have included only elementary school, which means grades 1 to 5, from one single reason, because younger kids, younger students need teaching support more than older students. So can you tell us what grade are you teaching?
I am teaching.
What grade?
Of course, I'm teaching third graders, and they do really need support. And I can see how much it means to them, because as I previously mentioned, we get to spend a lot of time together in lessons, and of course after lessons we get to do their homework together, and I also support them with that, and I think it's very meaningful. Especially because, as you mentioned, they're so young and they still get to learn what discipline is and what it means to be disciplined. So I think that this is a very good way to teach them that.
Yes, that's great. And now the semester is coming to an end. What are your impressions from this first 5 months of Prime program and everyday online classes?
So it's gone so fast, I have to admit. It was like as if it were yesterday when we started. I mean, it was not
actually.
Yes, it was like a couple of months ago. But I have so many things to say about Prime. But I think that the word that maybe best describes the program and my impressions about it is refreshing, because it's something completely new. And we are almost 5 months into the program now, and I'm so satisfied with how's everything been going. And I really have nothing but the best. Of course, there are tiny issues here and there, but my overall impression is that it's a really great thing for both tutors, as I already said, and the students as well.
Great. Well, that's a great thing to hear, because we are continuing with this program, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later. I wanted to ask everybody who's watching us, please feel free to ask any questions that you have. If you're a child or if you're a student enrolled in a Prime program, please leave a comment and tell us your impressions about this program, or say hello to your teacher, Sophie, or whatever. Just say from which country are you watching us, because as you all know, we have international students who are watching us worldwide.
Sorry for interrupting. I would just like to say hello, because I know that some of my students are probably watching this right now. So I'd like to say hello to them and to their parents. Okay, great. Well, I hope they will share their own opinion and ask some questions, or just, you know, tell us what they think about this Prime program, because it's always good to hear the other side. And at this moment, we are not yet in a position to, you know, bring parents or students in the studio. Never mind. Let's talk about Prime program in general. Anita, tell me from, I mean, you as our leading consultant, you were involved with this Prime program since the beginning. What was parents' reaction when we first started offering them Prime program and talking about full-time online schooling? Because to my understanding, when we talk about online schooling, parents don't really know what the online school includes or covers, or what it is, because in each school you get different things.
I think that we kind of answered their prayers. Just putting it lightly. No, but throughout consultations and throughout like a lot of inquiries, especially for these younger grades, they're always looking for more than just like a few group classes and a few individual classes per week. They want that full-time, like basically schedule, Monday to Friday, so that they have like all their subjects each day. I think mainly because, and I wanted to ask Sophie as well, with their progress. I mean, with our older students, it's a lot easier to say, okay, you have these group classes, you have these individual classes, but in your own time you need to do this and this. With our younger students, it's a little bit more difficult, because they can't manage it, not necessarily their time, but they need that guidance. The guidance, yeah. So did you kind of like see a difference with your students who went from regular packages to the Prime packages, how their progress has improved over time? And like with that, just the fact that they're attending more classes, they're being more attentive in class, they're doing their homework after class and all of that.
Actually, they made a great progress even before Prime, some of the students that were with us, but the velocity, how fast they make progress now is way better than it used to be. So that's also one of the benefits, I would say, definitely, of the program.
Especially coming into like online virtual learning, I think it would definitely help having just those extra classes like in Prime. So
yes, but it doesn't really make sense when we were talking about their maturity, you know, and discipline in the classes, because Anita, if you remember last time when Jim was here, he was actually telling us that when they started online schooling, and he was one of the, you know, founding fathers, if I can really say it like that, of online schooling in the US. No, I mean, he has been for 2 decades in online schooling, you know, and they started with high school because they understand that high schoolers will be much easier to adapt to this flexibility, and they needed more than younger kids, you know. So it does really make sense that we started with a Prime program for our youngest grades.
Well, also because now, like when we're transitioning, you want to start them from the beginning, and then they continue like throughout the whole school year. So
definitely.
makes sense that they're one of the
Absolutely.
founding children.
But I have to add one more thing that I was really amazed by, and that's their technical literacy. How
Really?
well they handle everything.
Sometimes better than us.
Sometimes even better than us, that's true. I mean,
teacher, let me show you.
I'm thinking about myself when I was their age, like 8 or 9. I could play Sims and that was it. Like play some game on a
That's
computer.
great. I used to play like on paint and just like draw shapes and that was it.
Like, Mom, look, I made a flower. And that was like the best thing I could do. But the screen sharing, request remote control, of course, chatting, and many other things. I'm
But
completely
also,
amazed.
I have to admit, the way they communicate with others, they know how to write an email even in such young age, how to ask a question. They are, I mean, you stumble upon children, who are like 6, 7, I don't know, 10 years old, and they don't know how to express themselves. I really have to admit that a lot of our students actually know how to communicate online. So it's really great. And Sophie, I've been meaning to ask you, because a lot of parents are asking us, like, what's the difference? Is it just the online classes, the number of online classes and stuff like that? Like, the students still follow the same program, they learn from the same platform. But yes, the number of classes is different, but also our approach and learning methodology are a little bit different. And the way we structured these classes in these subjects, I mean, what they're listening at the beginning of the day and the end of the day is really also has a meaning, and we put a lot of effort into thinking about it, how to organize everything. Can you tell us how a day in Prime program looks like?
It's a day in lab with Prime.
How does a school day looks like when the classes start, with which subjects and stuff like that? So,
Yes, I think that one of the biggest differences is that they really do have a fixed schedule. They know that they will go to school. They will go to school. One of my students say, "Oh, we don't go to school. We open school." So we can say like that. Yes, she's very cute. And so they open school at 9 a.m. Central European time, depending on the time zone, of course. And they know that they will finish by 3 p.m. Central European time. They have school from Monday to Friday, every single day. They know that they will have the subjects. They know what their timetable is, because before we even started, they got a timetable. So they know what courses which courses they will be learning at what time. And they know that they will finish their homework the same day, which is also one of the best things, I would say, because you know how in regular schools, parents cannot be completely, let's say, relaxed about it, because they have to stay with their kids when when their children are done with school. They have to stay with them and do homework. Here we wanted to also unburden, let's say, the parents as well, and to help them to finish the homework with them. So basically, when they close Zoom meeting, they're done with school for that day. And we covered everything that we were supposed to, including homework, which is, I think, really good.
That's really great that you have unburdened parent to at least some extent. Although I have been talking with Tammy, she told me that for some grades sometimes it's really necessary that even parents, I mean, they would do it in any other school, to just pay attention and to work a little bit with students. But most of the things are done under tutor supervision. So I think that's really great help for parents as well.
Sorry now for interrupting you, but I have to mention that it really is important, if not crucial, for parents to be involved in the educational journey, so to speak, of their children. And for example, now I'm talking from my own experience. Every Friday, I send an email to all the parents with a report, let's say, on the things that we did during that week. So all the activities that need to be submitted over the weekend, so that we can start.
Great. So they know what they need to do over the weekend, so that they can start the next week prepared and ready. Exactly. That's really great. I think that's makes things easier for students as well, because they're really getting that habit of have to do some things. You have homework, you have responsibility that you have to fulfill even over the weekend, so that you can start. I like that actually a lot.
It's a great thing. I love it, honestly. And one thing, because I don't want to be misunderstood, it's not that they have to do homework with them over the weekend. It's just we do everything. They just need to take photos of the homework or download it, depending on whether they did it on the computer. But since we have physical books now in this program. They just take photos of it, they submit it, and that's it. That's everything. It's 5 minutes job. That's it.
5 times. I was
5
already
times a week.
what she's trying to say.
Yes.
It's okay. Okay, that's really great. And how do students react? I mean, switching from, at least some of the students were enrolled in our classic online schooling program and had really flexible schedule prior to that. Others came from other traditional schools, meaning that they're used to 4 or 5 classes per day. But how students, I mean, how they react? What is their impression of having so many classes per day? And is it hard to keep their attention? How do you do it actually?
Well, their overall impression, I would say, I don't know if I got too lucky with the group that I have with the class, but they're super happy. They are really very satisfied. And for example, before the winter break, I had a student who said, "Oh no, 14 days is just too much. I will miss you guys." I was like, "Really? Is this even possible?" And she said, "Yes, I love school so much." And then the other girl was like, "Yes, me too. I will miss you, Sophie, and everybody else." So I was very happy. So they're so adorable. And the overall impression is that they really love it. Sometimes, of course, their focus drifts away, which is completely normal. It happens to us, adults as well. Yeah. So it's completely understandable. But when these things happen, we just pause for a second. We talk about things for 5 minutes. We maybe watch an educational video or something like that. And when I see their concentration is slowly coming back, we go back to the lesson.
Yes. So can you explain a little bit about the atmosphere in the classes, because we're on the same floor and so many times I'm passing by your office and I'm hearing, as I usually do from all teachers, offices, that they're loud and enthusiastic about everything, but it's really looking fun.
sorry for my physical education lessons, because we get to jump a lot and sometimes we dance.
I heard about your physical educations with the star jumps and everything.
Yes, it's literally like that. But I try to make those classes interesting and to make them move their bodies, to not just sit. And of course, it's important to learn things, because of course we learn things in physical education. We have lectures as well. But I try to make them dance and move and do exercise. Yes, the atmosphere, the how things are going actually in lessons, well, it depends. It really depends. Most of the time, they are very happy, cheerful. When we are supposed to do something, they do it. They do not complain. But if it happens that the amount of work that they have to do on that day is huge, bigger than normal, let's say, more than normal, then they get a little, let's say, distracted, and then we'll sometimes leave things for the next day. But it doesn't happen, of course, very often. So we have no problems.
Well, I do believe that you maybe in grade 1 sometimes, as usual, kids are known to start crying and stuff like that. But as I mentioned several times, numerous times in our podcast, our teachers really know their way around. We have Lauren Benitez, who says hello from Michigan, and we're saying hello to Lauren as well. So Lauren has some questions for us. Lauren. So this one will be for Anita probably. So this is a great program. Is it difficult to manage this program with students from many different time zones and many countries? So Anita.
So, basically, when we have families inquiring about the prime and how it usually works with time zones, because it goes from Central European time 9 to 3. Basically, Europe, Middle East, even Asia Pacific, it covers. It would be a little bit trickier for
the US,
and South America and all of that. So we kind of let them know that in advance, just because we don't want people waking up at 3 a.m. to join a class.
Absolutely, but even if there are enough interested students, in some points we'll probably be able to create groups for other time zones as well. We are now following the number of students that we get in a specific area or a part of the world, and see where we can where we can do it. But these are some, plans for the future.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We have a lot more to say about it. Okay, so Sophie already told us like how things are in class. Can you share some interesting anecdotes? That some things that I remember that talk about when you talked about Santa Claus and a student came disappointed but excited because he's going to discover truth for you that Santa Claus does not exist.
The mystery, yes, that was so funny. It was before New Year. We were talking about presents, and I was talking to one of the girls. And I was serious. I asked her, did you write a letter to the Santa Claus? Because he needs to know what you would like to get for New Year. And one of a boy from the class, he was like all shocked. He couldn't believe it that I could be so delusional. And he asked me, Sophie, didn't you know that Santa Claus does not exist? And he was looking at me like this. He couldn't believe.
Killing your dreams.
Yes, and I said, no way. So it was really funny. And yes, they say really lovely and also funny things all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot remember them all, but the cutest thing and the most adorable is when they say, one girl normally from the lesson, she's an old student. I mean, she's been with us for 2 years now, I think. She always says, guys, I love you so much. You're my best friends. I'm so happy to have met you, and I hope that I will stay in grade 4, that I will stay with you. Mm-hmm. And then the other girl joins, and she says, I hope that too, because I cannot believe, for example, when I was in my regular school, my teacher used to, yell at us all the time. My friends were not like this or that, but here we feel so comfortable and pleasant, and it's so fun for us, and I hope it will stay that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really important as well, and that's one of the main things with Prime is that you see them form these little friendship groups, and not just friendship groups, but like little communities where they start off in one grade and then they'll go to the next grade and the next grade. And
with the Prime program, they can actually graduate together, and we can have first group of graduates who graduated in the same time, which is really great.
And mature. You see them growing and maturing, and it's wonderful.
Are they supportive in the class? I mean, when you ask a question to one specific student, do others help? Like, what is there? Because I know in our classic online schooling, they do like to help each other in group classes. Is the same case with the Prime program?
Of course. They love to help. They love to be teachers because, for example, in language arts, we have that game when they're supposed to listen to a word and then to spell it. And then they all want to be to let's say to control the screen and to be the teacher who will type the letters, and the other students would spell the words. And also when when a student is struggling with a certain thing, all the others are like, can I help him? Can I help her? Can I do that? Of course. And that's really
great and cute. Can you tell us? We decided to start our prime idea for the Prime program was that we have 10 students per grade, but in the last moment we decided to form several groups and to have smaller number of students, because as we mentioned, this is the first time that we are doing this, and we wanted to see how things will work, and just to be sure that each teacher will be able to dedicate enough time to each student. How many students do you have in grade 3 now?
For now, okay, I have 4 students, and our intention was at the end, just like you said, that to have smaller groups, because it's more beneficial for students to be in smaller groups, because they can create deeper bond with each other, with a tutor as well, which in this case is me, but I'm talking now in general, and I think that they feel more relaxed and more comfortable when they work in smaller groups. For example, I have this student that's what his mother told me, that he was very shy. He couldn't open up about his feelings, experiences. He couldn't, he didn't feel comfortable talking about most of the things to his friends. And then she said that he literally bloomed, that's the expression that she used, bloomed, and that now he really opens up and he openly talks about things, And I remember when we started, for the first 2 months, I think, he didn't even say a word unless I asked him to. And now he's the first one who wants to answer the question, to ask a question.
And I also heard from Myla that she's another prime teacher, and I also heard from her that she also got some really nice impressions from parents who say that they cannot recognize their children because they are all like enthusiastic, and they started loving school again and things like that, which is really, really great. And I'm glad that we managed to achieve that with this prime program, because as we mentioned, classic online schooling is great, but for some students, for example, like if you want to have a picnic with your with your girl and you cannot get in a class, that's another anecdote I won't mention, but it's super fun because one of our students who had an individual class scheduled with a tutor, he had to cancel the class, and as an explanation he mentioned that he has a picnic with his girl, and he promised that he's going to join the class the day after, which we thought is really, really cute because he respected the procedure. He canceled the class 24 hours in advance,
and he gave a legitimate reason.
Absolutely, he didn't have to run away from the class.
He's 10 years old, but he had a picnic with the girl.
That's so cute.
Picnic is really nice. I hope the teacher will ask him how the picnic went, because I'm curious to see.
I hope it went well.
Maybe they share some interesting topics from school as well. So we have LJ who says hello LJ as well. Please let us know if you have any questions, or if you want to know anything about this prime program, education worldwide, or online schooling in general, or let us know from which country are you watching, or if you're a parent or a student in our school, or anything else that you want to share. Thank you for watching us. That's what I want. That's what I want to say.
I just wanted to say something to add. Actually, that the groups are small enough for them to feel comfortable, but big enough to have enough people with whom they can interact. They can interact with.
Not just like a 2-person group or like a one-on-one, but it's like
15, which is a lot.
Oh yeah,
but I think this is just enough to be efficient.
Okay, so we have. No, somebody deleted the message, so nothing. Nothing for now. Maybe they will say something again. Anyhow, so classes are 45 minutes long, right? Like
exactly.
in usual school, So do they have breaks between classes? Yes or no?
Yes, of course. If you ask me, they're crucial because it's impossible to work nonstop. Let's say 5 hours continuously. They need to have breaks, and they have 3 to 4 5-minute breaks, and they have one which is a long one, the longest one, which is 25 to 30 minutes to have lunch or to do something that would relax them or whatever. They maybe go for a walk, but they need to come back in 30 minutes.
Of course.
But they, of course,
are they sometimes late for the class after the break?
Sometimes.
I'm curious to see if they have any explanation. You know how we used to be like, sorry, I was late, I was in the bathroom or something like that.
I lost track of time. That's the best explanation they have.
Lost track of time.
My computer crashed. I don't have a watch. The internet shut down or something.
Yeah, they have new.
Actually, I hope none of our students are listening because I just gave them like a good list of
good list of excuses. Yeah. Do not listen to Anita. I'm joking, of course. You can listen to Anita. She has experience in writing. Coming up with excuses from classes. Well, that's great. So, okay, but besides parents telling you that they're satisfied with how their children react after classes and stuff like that, is there any other impression that they shared with you, like how they like the program from a parent's point of view? Like, are they satisfied? I know that you have several teacher-parent meetings with them over the course of this first semester.
Well, yes, they said that they're very satisfied with how everything's been going. They're satisfied with the program as well. It wasn't parent, it was a student, but she said, here I learn in one day more than I used to learn in my regular school for a week, because we really learn things. It's not just that we gather and talk and mention
We're not
a couple
entertaining room. We are just school, so we teach our
Yes.
children as well. Yeah.
Exactly, but they are very satisfied, very
Great.
happy.
Well, you're shy and you don't want to say, but I know that from one teacher-parent meeting, I'm having trouble saying that. Obviously, tonight, one of the parents told you that you should never quit being a teacher because you're great at
I'll
it.
start crying, stop.
Yeah, I
No,
remember
really.
that you're really emotional after that. So it's really great to see that parents are satisfied, and I hope that some of them are watching us now because, as we mentioned, we're continuing this program, which we're going to talk a little bit later. We have Nahla, who deleted message previously, but now she joined us again. She says, "Hello, I'm Nahla. I'm in 10th grade, and I just joined Education Worldwide this year, and I love the program. It's amazing, especially how I can work at my own pace." Well, Nahla, thank you for watching us, and thank you for such nice words. It means really a lot to us. And I think this is also reasoning with, with what we have been talking about, that high school students really love being, on their own pace and learning, and learning, at their own tempo instead of, having strict schedule with classes and everything. So, well, that's it. Okay, so I have mentioned several times that we are going to continue with Prime program, and we have another new thing to say, news that we are going to continue with this program even for middle school grades, which means that for the school year 2023-2024, we are going to cover grades 6 to 8 as well. So, Anita, will you be able to tell us something about it?
Well, basically it will be the same as for elementary school, so they will have their subjects for the core classes. We will still see with the elective courses as well. I think we will try and throw in some languages, kind of predetermine their electives, of course, just so that they meet the minimum requirement. They can always choose extra elective that they can do outside of the Prime program. The only difference is that with middle school, unfortunately, they won't have physical textbooks.
Because they don't exist, yeah.
Because they don't exist. Not because we don't want to give it to them, but they don't offer for
yes,
like 6 to 12, yeah.
Great. Well,
so yeah.
we will be having, I think, complete information sooner on our website. I hope by the end of the week, so you can read details. But if you have anything else to add regarding that new program, I mean, for middle school, Prime middle school, do you have any other information that you can share with us right now? No.
Just that it will start the same time as the next elementary one. I mean, from this year we'll have, of course, and a lot of our Prime students, well, not a lot, we hope all of our Prime students from the 5th grade will continue now at the middle school one. So that's our main idea, is to transition them through each schooling through this Prime program. So of course we'll have some existing students joining the Prime, we'll have some brand new students as well, so it'll be really fun.
I don't think that Sophie has in 3rd grade, but I think that some other grade, we had students who joined us or who are planning to join us in semester B. How that works, is it possible? What do we say to parents? Is it possible to join in the middle of the grade? Because this is a more strict program and we can also enroll them whenever they want, which is another difference. They need to start in September and end in July.
The thing is, because luckily we have that program that we divided in semester A and B. We have had some students now pre-enroll for elementary school for semester B, but that's because they have already completed semester A, either in our school or in a different school. If they're coming from a different school, then we would give them some like a refresher just to see if they're up to par with that same curriculum, and then we'll have a few joining semester B. It will be really nice for the existing group to meet a new face and welcome them to the groups.
It actually happened to the 4th grade now. We have a new student who joined in semester B.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great. I know that there was some grade that we have new students, but I didn't know which grade was it. Okay, that's really great. And Sophie, besides core subjects which are language arts, math, science, and social studies, we also have elective subjects for prime program students, and they get classes for these elective subjects as well, which is another difference comparing to our classic school program. Can you tell us a little bit about these electives and classes for electives, because these elective subjects are a bit easier, they're not that content heavy, how these things look like?
So besides the 4 subjects that are considered to be core subjects, which are the ones that you mentioned, I'll mention them once more. So these are language arts, science, social studies, and math. We also have physical education, music appreciation, arts and crafts, and then they get to choose between the 2 languages. It's either Spanish or German, they can choose. But we also have twice a week classes in Spanish and German, which is also different from the let's say classical program that we have. And the other courses, which are not core courses, because the first four that I mentioned are actually core courses. I think that the others are as important as the core ones. I wanted to mention health that we have, because we have physical education, music appreciation, health, and one of the electives. So in health, we get to learn a lot of useful things, a lot of things that they will use in life. Then also we learn about how mental health is, about mental health, and how important it is to talk about, to be aware of your thoughts, of your feelings, and not to be afraid to openly talk about them with your parents or friends, and also tutors, especially at such a young age. Tutors play important role in their life. I can I do feel free to say in their life in this period. So I think this is also important.
Well, I actually asked that for several reasons, but one of the reasons was because you brought us some work from your students, something that they did in, I don't know, art or something. Arts and crafts.
Right.
So can you show us
one of the courses?
What they did?
Yes, it's so beautiful. Okay, so this is nature, a little bit abstract, but it's really wonderful. I don't know whether it can be seen.
They can see. Yeah, they can see.
They can see. All right, so we have, for example, in our arts and crafts lessons, we don't just make and draw things nor paint, but we also learn. So we learn, this is, for example, we learned about cubism. This is a cubist castle, so we talked a little bit about Pablo Picasso, about George Braque, and about Vincent van Gogh. And other painters and artists. So we get to not just learn, but they get to apply their knowledge in, let's say, real life. Not just learn about something, but actually see that it can be done in either painting or some other. Okay, we have some other
show others as well.
This one, I don't know whether they can see this. It's a camping. One of the girl drew this. She was very proud of this, and she wanted me to show this. So it's really.
Do they have
cute.
like topics, or do they have like something on their own wish to write about it? Was camping a topic?
What do you draw what you did on the weekend, or is it like a theme that you guys discussed in a class?
Well, we have a program. We follow the lessons in the course that we have on the platform. But sometimes, for example, last week, since we are in January and it will be February very soon, and St. Valentine's Day, so the day when we share love and when we express love towards our parents, friends. So I asked them to make a card for their best friend. So this is what we did. Depending on the season, we have some
depending on the season. Sometimes in one of our next episodes, you will be able to see that. But also, we were going to discuss some Hall of Fame, if I can call it like that, on our website, the place where we can, show the works of our students. Although they can see them now on our social media channels on Instagram and Facebook. And there's another call. So if you're not following us on Facebook and Instagram, please do so. You have our links in the description of this video. So yeah, do that. Follow us to see the works of our students, and sometimes we even share their impressions and stuff like that, because I know from my from the times when I used to work as a consultant, when I was getting into consultations with parents, that they usually ask like, do you have some like testimonials or stuff like that? Yeah, we do have it. So you can see it directly on our social media or read it on our website. So it's the same. But I think that the works that they submit, not only in prime program but in all grades in general, just shows that online schooling can be engaging as well and interactive for kids as well as a traditional school. I mean, that's one of the biggest fear of parents, like how they're going to do this or how they're going to do that. They're not lacking
science
anything.
and arts and crafts, like
music appreciation. We have so many talented kids. We have so many talented students who play different instruments, and they sing, and they also paint beautifully, and they love those experiments that they have to in science course. So it's
just so
really
that they can like do hands-on things, like physically paint something, or
they can touch.
Yeah, and I feel like it's such an important thing when they're like, especially at that age when they're learning, like they're learning through different methods, and it just makes it more fun for them as well.
Definitely,
like,
definitely.
And if learning is not fun, it's not going to stick.
Definitely. Okay, this will be like the last call. If you have any questions, feel free to ask us in the comment section. We are going to answer directly, but we are getting close to the end of this show. But if you're shy and you don't want to talk with us in the comments, you can always send us an email. You have all our contact details in the description of this video as well. Okay, Sophie, do you have anything else to add regarding prime program? Is there something that we didn't discuss, like something that is important that you would like to mention, or anything that you want to share, like
Final
something
words.
to encourage maybe students to learn more or to do more?
To work more, please. No, really, maybe it sounds like exaggerated words or something like that, but I'm so happy and so satisfied with everything. Of course, they have their days when they are less focused, let's say, they lack concentration a little bit, but in generally speaking, as I already mentioned, overall impression is that the program is really beneficial for the students. I see how much they've learned. The progress that they've made is amazing. It really is. And well, that's it. I'm so happy, and I hope that they will keep making the progress like they've done by now.
Now that you mentioned, I forgot probably to ask you, what happens? I mean, you did mention like a little bit like that when they lose their focus and everything. Like, are you familiar with any case, maybe not in your grade, but in prime in general, that we had like some, not like big issue, but some kid being just maybe not really satisfied or started crying, and some, let's say, negative moment at the class, like how teachers dealt with that? Do you know, or maybe I should bring another teacher to answer that question?
You should bring another teacher.
Can I skip this question, please?
Well, I haven't had such experiences. Maybe once, when one of the girls in the class had a really tough day. It was really exhausting because she did some things before the lesson and some private things, and then her mom just asked me whether she can go finish earlier than we are supposed to normally, and that I'm perfectly fine with that. If a student is not feeling really well, either physically or maybe is tired or exhausted or has some other...
needs to be excused in general.
Yes, I don't want to make them, if they feel bad, to sit there just to say that they're in the class.
Absolutely. So
it doesn't make sense.
Care of that too as well. Okay, so we have questions. So Nala is asking, are we going to make group classes for languages, for Spanish and French, for example, soon? But she's in regular programs, so it's a little bit
group
hard.
Classes for the languages.
Yes, which are electives.
We were talking about that. The thing is, we do need to see like how many students we have in, because we have different languages and different levels of languages.
Absolutely.
So we have like Spanish 1, 2, and 3. We need to try and get like, see if we can group them like.
Yes, and not all students start at the same time, which is why at this moment it's really hard for us to create a group, because even if you have enough students who are learning Spanish in their 10th grade as an elective subject, they're not at the same progress. So, you know, forming a group would be very difficult for them. We have Mr. Ivan Milošević, who says the program is exquisite, modern, trendy, and I highly recommend it. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching us. We don't recognize the name, but maybe some other consultant enrolled them. Oh, you are. Anita's always recognizing a name. So if you're asking for the name of a person, you can turn to Anita, because she enrolled the most students in our school. Still holding a record, world record holder.
I don't think it's that far. But
I'm actually sometimes asking myself, how do you manage to remember them all?
Question?
Do you?
I don't know. I have a good memory.
Okay,
I think we're always in contact as well. So like, I guess contact is key. Communication is key. Crucial.
Yes, so we have another question that's really great. So Naija, hello, and thank you for watching us. He or she asks, I'm sorry, I think it's he. Hello, I have a question. If someone is behind by a couple of months, does it degrade the grade? And how do students catch on? I mean, if somebody's falling behind. I'm not sure if he's asking about the prime program or classic.
Just in general.
I think, sorry for interrupting, I think it cannot happen with a prime program. That's one of the
So you can't fall behind, basically.
You basically cannot, because we start
together,
from the same, we start together from the same point, and then we
all work together.
And I think as well, that's the whole idea of having that like homework class, because even if, how long does the homework class go for? 1 hour, 2 hours?
Yes, 1 hour, 1 hour and a half.
Yeah, like if someone was, even after that 1.5 hours, if there's one student who needs to catch up, would you stay behind and help them catch up?
Of course,
yeah.
Of course.
So that's why, like,
that's
I don't
why
think
they cannot fall
That's
behind.
why our intention was to have 2 hours, but we normally need 1 hour, 1 hour and a half.
And why keep them longer if they're already finished with everything? So
exactly,
really
exactly.
Great.
And if, as Anita said, if somebody has some additional questions, I can stay with them. We can stay with the students. Yeah. That's why.
And what about our classic schooling program, which is really interesting? This
with
question.
The classic one as well. That's why we have. That's why every student, when they enroll, they have an assigned tutor. So that assigned tutor make sure that the student is not falling behind. That if they see some assignments or like some tasks are piling up, they like email them, they contact them to see what's going on. If it really does get to a point where they have like 200 overdue, which is not that bad, like it just sounds very daunting, but like it could be a lesson, it could be a quiz, whatever. We've had experiences in the past where we would black out certain dates, have them catch up so that no new like assignments are piling up, and then have them continue. That's the good thing about our program, is that we can pause it. You can catch up on what was like falling behind, and then just continue.
Yeah, basically what you need to do is just provide an explanation to your teacher of why you're falling behind, because if you're simply lazy, that's not really a good explanation. But if you have something going on in your life and you're not able to learn for this reason or that reason, it's really okay. Just contact your assigned tutor, ask them to pause the program, and they will help you adjust later with everything. So it doesn't really have negative effects on your grade, unless the reason you're not learning is just because you're being lazy. Because even if you are lazy in this moment, if you prolong the grade for you and if you continue being lazy, at the end it's just piling up, and all the work is piling up, and you will have to do it eventually to pass the grade. But if you have a reason why you can't learn at some particular time that is justified, we can actually work around it. That's the benefit of online schooling. Okay, so I think that we have come to an end. Anita, do you have, maybe because Sophie had her last words?
My final words for the podcast. Well, I just wanted to say that if anyone has any questions regarding the prime, whether it's elementary school or middle school, they can always contact us, getting contact with one of our consultants, and yeah, we'll be more than happy to provide in-depth explanations and give like a rough time frame of when like middle school prime will be starting. I think it will be like last year around the same time.
Yes. And I will
September.
just jump in to add that pre-enrollments for the prime program for elementary and middle school will start from May. And as I mentioned, by the end of the week, the detailed information should be on our website, so you can read it there. Or as Anita mentioned, the best thing would be to just book a consultation, even if it's too early. You can book a consultation with one of our consultants. They can fill you up with details and tell you how things work, so you can have a nice amount of time to think about whether this program will be good for your child or not. And I also hope that we will have some testimonials from our current students and their parents to just support what we are talking about, because everything seems to be great. Oh, we have a student. I mean, a parent of a student. So we have Anka Nahbar.
Oh, I know.
She says, just want to congratulate everyone for coming up with this program. I have both daughters in your school, and it's the best decision we have ever made as a family. Special thanks for Sophie and Mila.
Oh,
so,
that's so sweet. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I remember the Nahbar family. I talked with them during the consultation. And I know that they enrolled 2 daughters. And they switched another daughter to prime program. She was primarily supposed to go to classic school program, and it's really, really great. Anka, thank you for watching us, and thank you for such nice words. We will keep up the good pace, and the good work in the year that is coming. So, okay, if that is it. Girls, thank you for joining me here tonight, and thank you.
I really enjoyed the conversation. I hope you can say the same.
It was like a little bit longer than a class, so you survived.
Yes, yay!
That's
Now
great.
we can say podcast dismissed.
Podcast dismissed, yeah. So thank you all for watching us. If you found this episode interesting, please share it with somebody who would find it interested and useful as well. Like this episode, and share it to other people. I already said that. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we're going to see you next month with another topic. And as I mentioned, if you have any questions, you can always contact us on any contact information that you find in the description of this video. Again, thank you for watching us, and enjoy the rest of the night or the day, whatever you are watching us from. Bye.